Imagine waking up one day and meeting yourself. Only he isn't your reflection, he's better, stronger, smarter. Everyone believes him and no one believes you. You've been replaced. But the worst part? He didn't come to live your life. He came to destroy it. Alex Carter had always considered his life painfully ordinary. He wasn't rich, he wasn't poor. He worked long hours as a mid-level analyst at a finance firm, living in a modest apartment that overlooked the city skyline. His colleagues barely noticed him, his neighbors barely remembered his name, and most days felt like carbon copies of the last. Wake up, shower, coffee, work, sleep, repeat. But there was a strange comfort in his routine. He knew who he was, what to expect, and what tomorrow would bring. Predictability was his anchor. Until the day everything changed. It started like any other Tuesday. Alex had left the office later than usual, his tie loosened, his laptop bag slung carelessly over his shoulder. The streets buzzed with life, neon signs reflecting off rain-slick pavement. He was halfway across the square when he froze. Because standing at the fountain, not 20 feet away, was himself. At first, Alex thought it was just a trick of exhaustion, a blurry reflection in the glass storefronts, or maybe someone who vaguely resembled him. But then the man turned. And Alex felt his stomach drop. Same face. Same jawline. Same tired hazel eyes. Same scar on the chin from when he'd fallen off his bike at 12. It was him. Only, not. The other Alex was sharper somehow. His suit looked tailored, his hair styled with a confidence Alex had never possessed. His stance was easy, commanding, as though he belonged to the world in a way the real Alex never did. And then it got worse. Because the double smiled. Not at random. At him. As though they were sharing a secret. For a long moment, Alex couldn't move. His brain scrambled for explanations. Hallucination. Stress. A stranger who looks like me. Some kind of prank. But the double turned, walked into the crowd, and disappeared. Alex stumbled after him, shoving past strangers, his heart hammering in his throat. He pushed through bodies, checked every corner, but the man was gone. Vanished as though he'd never been there. By the time Alex reached his apartment that night, sweat clung to his shirt, and his hands wouldn't stop trembling. He poured himself a glass of water, tried to steady his breathing, tried to tell himself it wasn't real. And for a moment he almost convinced himself. Until 2 days later when his boss called him into the office. "Alex," Mr. Hargrove said, folding his hands across his desk. His expression was unusually cold. "Do you think this company is a joke?" Alex blinked. "Sir? I don't understand." "You don't understand?" Hargrove barked. "Showing up drunk to a client dinner and humiliating the firm? Stealing classified documents and leaving a trail right back to your account? Don't play dumb with me." The words hit Alex like bricks. He had never, ever, done any of those things. "I wasn't at any dinner," Alex stammered. "And I don't even drink. I didn't steal anything, someone must have." But Hargrove cut him off with a glare. "Get out. We'll be reviewing your contract. Don't come back until further notice." Alex stood frozen, his mouth dry, his protest useless. He walked out of the office in a daze, the whispers of his colleagues echoing in his ears. By the time he made it home, dread had settled deep in his bones. He collapsed on his couch, his head spinning. And then his phone buzzed. A message. From an unknown number. Was a picture. Of him. At that same client dinner, glass of whiskey in hand, laughing with people he had never even met. Alex dropped the phone. His chest tightened. His double hadn't just been real, he was replacing him. And for the first time in his life, Alex Carter felt true fear. Alex didn't sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, the image of his double, that confident smile, that effortless presence, came rushing back. The photo on his phone glared at him from the nightstand, proof that this wasn't madness. Someone was out there wearing his face. Someone was taking his life apart, piece by piece. But how? And why? By the next morning, Alex looked like a ghost. He showered, dressed, and tried to convince himself it would all clear up. Maybe it was identity theft, maybe some elaborate fraud. He'd explain, people would understand. But when he arrived at his office, his security badge didn't work. The guard gave him a pitying look. "You've been suspended, Carter." "Sorry." "Orders from upstairs." Alex walked back out into the street, humiliated. He checked his messages, hoping for something normal, anything to tether him to reality. Instead, he found dozens of texts. From colleagues, friends, even his landlord. Most of them said the same thing. "How could you?" Some were worse. "You disgust me." And one from his closest friend Daniel. Don't ever talk to me again. Panic clawed at Alex's chest as he called Daniel. After several rings his friend picked up. Daniel, thank God. Don't, Daniel snapped. His voice was like ice. Don't you dare call me after what you did. What I did. Daniel, I haven't done anything. I swear. Stop lying. Daniel shouted. You came to my house last night, drunk off your ass, screaming at my wife, calling her. His voice broke with rage. You threatened my kids, Alex? My kids. Do you know how fast I should have called the cops? Alex's mouth went dry. That wasn't me. Please, you have to believe me, it wasn't me. But Daniel hung up. And just like that, another piece of his life was gone. That evening, Alex returned to his apartment building, drained and defeated. But when he reached his door, the lock was broken. He stepped inside slowly, his heart pounding. Everything was trashed. Drawers pulled open, papers scattered, photo frames smashed. The only thing untouched was the mirror in the hallway, and on it, scrawled in thick red marker, were 4 chilling words. You don't exist anymore. Alex staggered back, his breath ragged. This wasn't coincidence. This wasn't theft. Whoever his double was, he wanted Alex erased. And he was succeeding. The next days blurred into a nightmare. His bank accounts froze. His social media filled with posts he hadn't written, offensive rants that destroyed his reputation. Strangers spat at him on the street. Even his mother, when he called her, hesitated. Alex, she whispered, I don't know what's happening with you, but you came to see me yesterday. You told me you never wanted to be my son again. Do you have any idea what that did to me? Alex nearly dropped the phone. Mom, I didn't. But she hung up, sobbing. He was being erased from every part of his own life. One evening, as Alex wandered the streets aimlessly, he caught a glimpse in a cafe window. Not his reflection. Him. The double. Sitting at a table with Daniel, laughing as though they'd been friends forever. Alex's throat burned. Rage and terror twisted together until he could hardly breathe. He pressed his hand against the glass, staring at the imposter who wore his skin, lived his life and smiled with his stolen charm. And then, for the briefest moment, the double looked up. Their eyes met through the glass. The smile widened. And Alex understood the truth. This wasn't random. This was deliberate. His double wasn't just stealing his life. He was hunting him. The moment Alex locked eyes with his double through the cafe window, something shifted inside him. The helpless fear, the endless spiral of confusion, it all hardened into something else. Rage. If this imposter wanted to erase him, Alex wasn't going to just sit back and disappear. He was going to fight. That night Alex didn't go home. Instead he followed his double. He waited across the street until Alex Carter, the fake one, left the cafe with Daniel, clapping him on the back as if nothing had happened. The two of them laughed, got into Daniel's car and drove off. Alex trailed from a distance, heart hammering. They stopped at a townhouse in the suburbs. Daniel hugged the double before heading inside. The imposter waved cheerfully, then strolled down the street alone. Alex followed. The man, his double, moved with absolute confidence, every step casual, every smile perfect. People glanced at him, drawn in, as if his very presence radiated charm. Alex clenched his fists. That's not me. That's not who I am. But it looked exactly like him. Same height, same build, same face. How was this possible? The double ducked into a side alley. Alex hesitated, then followed. But when he turned the corner, the alley was empty. No footsteps. No movement. Just silence. Alex cursed under his breath. He scanned the walls, the dumpsters, the shadows. Nothing. It was as if the man had vanished into thin air. And then Alex noticed it, a folded paper pinned under a brick near the dumpster. He picked it up. 4 words, written in the same red marker from his apartment mirror. Stop following your shadow. Alex's stomach dropped. He wasn't just being hunted. He was being watched. The next morning, Alex forced himself to think clearly. If this double was destroying his life, then there had to be traces. Mistakes. Paperwork, surveillance cameras, digital footprints. He went to a library, one of the few places where he could use a computer without being recognized. He searched his own name. Page after page came up, articles, social posts, even news stories. But they weren't about him. They were about the double. Alex Carter, caught on camera drunkenly assaulting a bartender. Alex Carter, cheating on his taxes. Alex Carter, screaming at a charity worker. All lies. All perfectly staged. It was a campaign of destruction. But then he noticed something strange. Every article traced back to the same source. A mysterious online account named Erebus. Alex dug deeper. The account was old, much older than the recent posts. It had been active for years, spreading rumors, twisting facts, planting seeds. And buried among the older posts was something chilling. A thread about him from nearly a decade ago. Long before this nightmare began. It mentioned his father. Alex froze. His father had died when he was a teenager. A car accident. At least that's what he had always believed. But here, on this anonymous forum, someone had written, Alex Carter's old man got what he deserved. The son will too in time. His blood ran cold. Whoever this was, this Erebus had been watching him for years. And if his father's death wasn't an accident, Alex slammed the laptop shut, trembling. That night he returned to his apartment despite the mess. He couldn't stop staring at the broken mirror, the words still etched across it. You don't exist anymore. He whispered into the silence, Who are you? And as if in answer, his phone buzzed. A message. Unknown number. We need to talk. Tomorrow. Midnight. At the cemetery. Bring no one. Attached was a photo. His father's gravestone. Alex's breath caught. His double wasn't just stealing his life. He was dragging up the ghosts of the past. And if Alex wanted answers, he had no choice but to follow. The cemetery was silent, shrouded in fog that curled between the headstones. Midnight. Alex stood before his father's grave, his breath sharp in the cold night air. His phone buzzed. A message. Behind you. Alex spun around. And there he was. The double. The man stepped from the shadows, calm and steady as if he owned the night. Same face. Same eyes. Same everything, except the smile. That smile wasn't his. Hello, Alex, the double said. His voice was identical but laced with something Alex could never fake, confidence. Authority. Who are you? Alex demanded, fists clenched. Why are you doing this? The double tilted his head. Wrong question. You should be asking what I am. Alex swallowed hard. The double stepped closer, circling him. I'm not an accident. I'm not a coincidence. I was made for this. To replace you. To finish what your father couldn't. Alex's heart pounded. My father? The man smirked. Oh, you really don't know, do you? He wasn't just some poor man who died in a car crash. He was part of something bigger. A program. An experiment. And you, Alex, you were his test subject. Alex staggered back, shaking his head. No. That's impossible. The double smile widened. Then how do you explain me? The next days were chaos. Alex couldn't sleep, couldn't think. His father, the man he'd mourned for years, was tied to this nightmare? He dug through old boxes in his mother's attic, searching for answers. He found files, yellowed papers, letters hidden in envelopes. And then the truth. His father had worked for a covert research group, Project Mirror, a program obsessed with identity, control, and replication. They believed that a person could be duplicated, not cloned in a lab but replicated through psychology, conditioning, and surgical alteration. Alex's blood ran cold as he read the documents. Notes, dates, test results. His own name scribbled in the margins. And at the bottom of one page, subject's double has been prepared. Deployment scheduled upon paternal termination. Deployment. Upon termination. His father's death wasn't an accident. It was a trigger. And now his double had been unleashed. The double's attacks grew bolder. Friends stopped answering Alex's calls. His landlord changed the locks. Police showed up at his old job with warrants in his name. Everywhere he went, doors closed. His life wasn't just being stolen, it was being erased. Alex was living like a ghost, hiding in cheap motels, using fake names, watching his double flaunt the life that had been his. One night, Alex snapped. He tracked the double to a high-rise party, his old boss, his old friends, all laughing with the imposter. Alex broke in, stormed through the crowd. Look at me, he screamed. That's not me. That's not Alex Carter. But all he saw were blank stares. Fear. Security dragged him out, kicking and shouting. And through the glass doors, he saw his double smirking at him, raising a toast. Not everyone had abandoned him. A stranger found Alex in the alley that night, a woman named Evelyn, sharp-eyed, calm, with a folder tucked under her arm. I know what's happening to you, she said. Alex almost laughed. You don't know anything. She opened the folder. Inside were photographs, of his double, of Project Mirror, of his father. I was part of the project, she admitted. Your father tried to shut it down. They killed him for it. And they've been waiting for the right moment to activate your replacement. Alex's throat tightened. Why me? Because you were the only one who survived the conditioning as a child, Evelyn said quietly. You were the perfect candidate. And now your double is their weapon. With Evelyn's help, Alex began to fight back. They hacked into databases, traced financial transfers, uncovered hidden labs where the project still operated. And everywhere the same signature appeared. Erebus. The shadow that had haunted Alex for years wasn't just a name, it was the project itself. And now Alex had a target. It all led to an abandoned facility on the outskirts of the city. Evelyn warned him it was a trap, but Alex didn't care. He needed to end it. Inside, the walls were covered with photographs of him. His life catalogued. Birthdays, school, his first job, his first heartbreak. His entire existence dissected and studied. And in the center of the room, his double waiting. You finally came, the imposter said, smiling. Good. Because this only ends one way. The fight was brutal. Fists, blood, rage. Two identical men locked in combat, indistinguishable in their fury. But Alex fought with something his double could never replicate. Memory. Well, the truth of who he was. And in the end he won. The double fell, broken, gasping for air. You can't kill me. Because without me, you're nothing. Alex stood over him, trembling. No. Without me, you never should have existed. And he left him there, in the ruins of the project that had created them both. Weeks later, Alex stood at his father's grave again. This time there were no messages. No shadows watching him. Just silence. He whispered, I know now. What they did to you. What they tried to do to me. But I'm still here. And I won't let your death be for nothing. He walked away not as a ghost, not as a victim, but as a man who had faced his own shadow, and survived. Thank you for watching till the end. Subscribe so you won't miss the next story.